Boy, Monday. Case of the Mondays. We back though, and we're here. Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's Emo's the witness. Welcome back. It's the Phil Show. As you guys know, saying what the fuck I look like. And again, you can catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday downtown at Wave One Media at 120 East Market Street. Trying to bring you the live, bring you the real news, politics, fresh new perspective. Down here in downtown with Malik and White, two of the hottest producers in media. And we're gonna dig into the news of the day. We're gonna get you started off for this week. So let's jump into it. We start a little bit late as usual. Let's go ahead and jump into the background music, Malik, and let's go ahead and get the people to start the day, to start the news of the afternoon, leading into their lunch. You got a plan on your computer. Do I? Okay. Cut that down a little bit. Actually, you know what that is? That's the computer. There we go. All right, again, like I said, we got a lot to cover today. We got a lot of news to go through. I want to talk about immigration. I want to get into a lot of the blunders the Biden administration has recently come across, and a lot of double talk. And again, you're going to see a lot of the deception that I was referring to the last few episodes regarding how the double talk you're hearing in politics and what you're not really hearing, what you're supposed to hear. Again, I'm Emo's the witness. I'm your host. It's the Phil Show. Simple what the fuck I look like. You can catch me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. My previous shows are also on Spotify. You can catch me live downtown, though, however, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 11. Again, we always tend to start a little bit late. That's how we are. I think it's pretty much ingrained in me to be late. I know that we always say black folks are on CPT time. I think that I'm just me. I have to be late. I don't know why, but I got to fix that, going forward. You know what I'm saying? I'm, getting better. I get my daughter to school. I'm still hit and miss with that. I'm still having these. See, what it is I think I'm having like a lot of just small shit happen to me in the morning that irritate me, that causes me to be delayed. Like you don't get gas the night before, so you got to get your ass up a little bit early, get gas, but you don't, so then you're late. You see what I'm saying? Like I told my man Malik, I stepped in dog shit last week. I got a new dog, got a little Yorkshire Terrier. Like I said, full on barefoot shit. Like right in front in the doorway. That'll fuck anybody's day up. I don't care what you say. And you know how they say when you step in horse shit, it's good luck. You heard that term, Malik? When you step in horse shit, it's considered good luck?
Never.
Yeah, well, yeah, see what I'm saying, man? The youth don't know the old quote to the day. The old sayings, the old, you step on a crack, you break your mother's back.
Yeah, I know that one.
You know that? Okay, that one. Well, this is similar. I guess the old fable is you step in some horse shit, it's good luck. So I guess I don't know if you win the next horse race, if you're one of those big ballers or just whatever. Something good is going to come your way, like money, good fortune. What happens if you step in dog shit in the morning, like you're a dog? Yeah, no, I'm not talking about if you're outside and you're walking your dog, but if you're in your house, in your place of domicile, Malik, and if you step into some dog shit, barefooted, raw, in between the toes, squish, shouldn't you get some kind of good luck too, don't you think?
Nah, that sounds like bad luck.
Man, see, bad luck would be stepping in another person's dog shit. You see what I'm saying? If you're outside walking your dog, they don't pick up their mess. I can see that being and it's like raining outside. I can see that being a bad day, and then you just kind of go home and start the day over. But like if you're in your house and you step on a family member's shit, I mean that should never happen. But like a dog shit, like you should get like a good 40% off your gas bill. You know what I'm saying? Or like you should be able to get like a free voucher for groceries. Something should happen if that, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like raw dog shit in the morning as a parent. Hey man, you should better get, that should mean something. I don't even know if these fables even work, but hey, you haven't seen an influx of crack backs. You haven't. So believe in it. But anyway, you must have witnessed, hit that subscribe button every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm down here live trying to make it for y'all. Okay, this is a new hot political perspective show that I'm trying to create, with the concept in place to be a witness and to be a referee and a guide to going through all these issues of the day, all these policies that come across our everyday table that we don't really understand, but we get manipulated and we get misled by our political leaders and our politicians, our media moguls, our media. Our sports icons, our business leaders, they all kind of have an agenda, whether it's good or bad or in our favor. We need to dig deep into these issues because we've seen so much go on in the last few years, okay? So I said, let me lend a voice. Let me get my own show. Let me try to come out here and speak to the people and kind of let's grow together to try to hold truth to power and hold these people accountable, for their leadership. We've seen over the decades and over the years of poor approval ratings from Congress. Just poor policy, lack of implementation. You know, broken promises, and just really, assaults on the Constitution as a whole. That's what I've witnessed. I have a lot of things I believe, a lot of traditional U.S. foundational beliefs that I still hold dear. That either I got those growing up through my grandfather, or through my family members, just over time, just kind of molding me. And as I went through life, I changed my perspective on a lot of things going on in politics. you know, um, I really believe that Constitution is something we should hold dear and sacred. And there's been a lot of assault on the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, freedom of protest. And you see what's going on with censorship and the changing in the dialogue of this country is really becoming one-sided. Now, I'm not necessarily in favor of a two-party system. I mean, I really believe they're both the same, one and the same. I mean, I do think we need more diversity. I think we do need to see more parties being represented. But when you have that situation, in my opinion, we have that situation happen, you're going to see one big party consume power for a long time. And that's what you see going on with the Democratic Party right now. The Democratic Party has their teeth and their nails and everything, their fangs, just sunk into this country in a manner in which they're poised to maintain power for a long time if they do it right. But hopefully in this show today I can show you that immigration is a thorn in their side that could possibly derail them in the upcoming elections if they continue to blunder what's going on at that border. There is truly a crisis down the southern border. The Republicans have an advantage to use that come election season if they do it right. But as I told you before, the Democrats play a better game. They play a better dirty game when it comes to politics. And Republicans, over time, they've shown to be made as dupes. If Trump didn't come along and promote this nationalist rhetoric and policy, Republicans would still be out of power. They'd still be fumbling their thumbs. They're weak when it comes to how they attack their opponent politically. So even when they had Trump in their corner, they even sabotaged him. Didn't appreciate what they had in their corner. And now you got the Trump campaign, or I guess you can say, or in the background, his leadership, he's cleaned up the Republican Party, and we'll see what that holds in 2022 and 2024. But right now, it's all about the messaging and the PR battle. Public relations, how are they going out there and pouncing on this immigration message? How are they using it in addition to COVID? Because there's a lot of blunders in the COVID policy of the Biden administration. In addition to the stimulus and the IRS rollout, there's a lot of blunders, a lot of mistakes that the Biden administration is making. They could truly be a one-term presidency. If you line that up with their rhetoric and how they double talk and how they blame the previous administration continually, and they're incorrect, it can grow to be something that is a quick, sea change or a changeover coming 2022, the midterms, and of course the presidency. Hopefully, the Emo's the Witness show can also show you, the past investigations that are going on, the culprits, the Teflon Dons that have not been held accountable for their fraudulent behavior during the 2016 campaign. That needs to be held accountable. It's very important because our voting and our judicial system is under attack. And also that I want to be able to hopefully show you the updates regarding the 2020 voting issues and irregularities. There's still a lot of fights in the courts to clean up the voter rolls, to clean up all the absentee nonsense that happened last year, to get us ready for those election seasons coming up. If we don't have those fights, then all this talk is nonsense. All this is irrelevant because the elections are rigged. Your vote is no longer strong. No matter who you believe in or what side of the party, you should at least want that for your future. To know that you can walk down these streets and know that if you have a vote, that it counts and it's effective. Even Democrats were upset at the 2020 election as far as the behavior behind it. It's just so there's a sour taste in your mouth to how some of these things. How you have an election on the third, but not have results until like deep into the next year. I mean, early next year rather. But I'll give you some updates on that regarding what's going on in Georgia and going on in Arizona. You know, Arizona has a recount going on right now. The Democratic Party is already pouncing on that. As far as it being not up to cuff. But we'll get into that. But I want to jump to COVID because that seems to be an issue that is still, a pandemic. This pandemic it has ebbs and flows. You hear articles that show you success or positive news, and then you see bad news the very next day. Right now, just got some updates on how the Post on America, how America feels. Here's an article from the New York Post. More than 5 million Americans have skipped second COVID-19 vaccine dose. It's 8% though. 8% of Americans, more than 5 million people, have failed to get their second crucial dose of COVID-19 vaccine, according to the federal health stats. While more than half of all U.S. adults have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, fewer than 30% have been fully vaccinated. CDC figures show part of that gap stems from a required 3 to 4 week wait in between doses. Now, but in millions of cases, Americans have not gotten their second dose by choice or because of supply issues. New York Times said, quoting CDC stats through April 9th and the most recent available. The worrisome figures come as a result of U.S. residents fearing reported flu-like symptom effects from the following immunization. The belief that they have enough immunity off the first shot and continued vaccine shortages in some areas of the country. So there's a vaccine shortage for the second dose in some areas of the country, and some Americans feel that the first shot is enough. They don't need a second shot. And also, some people fear that the flu-like side effects are a danger. See, me myself I believe in all three. On top of that, just the minimal shot as possible if I have to get it. There's still too many open questions not answered. But we may not even have a choice if you want to be able to have freedoms and live your life. But here's a quote from Paul Offit. I'm very worried because you need that second dose. He's a teacher at the University of Pennsylvania. He's a member of the FDA's vaccine advisory panel. Medical experts have said that there is a growing evidence that foregoing a second dose of the two-shot coronavirus immunization currently on the U.S. market from Pfizer and Moderna can leave people more vulnerable to the disease's highly transmissible variants. In addition, it is unclear how long the protection of a single shot might last. See, it's just too many unanswered questions. Again, my position is that I'm not going to get the shot unless I really have to. But like I said, you look at what's going on in India. Here's for the Washington Post. India sets another daily coronavirus case record. U.S. pledges help. So we have these surges over the summer, and India is just going crazy. And we have this bad news. It just tightens the grip on power and laws, and your freedoms are affected. But yeah, reading this article here, the Biden administration is under growing pressure to offer more assistance to India as it struggles to contain a devastating coronavirus outbreak, promised Sunday to provide new aid, including the materials for making vaccines. The pledge came hours after Indian authorities announced another global record of new cases Sunday, and the most COVID-19 deaths in the country has suffered in the 24-hour period. The National Security Council said the United States will provide vaccine materials, drugs, test kits, ventilators, and personal protective equipment. Let's remind you how we got that increase in ventilators. Where we get that from? The Trump administration. The full stock of PPE? Trump administration. Per the Trump administration, the Obama administration left the cupboards bare. So let's keep that in mind when we talk about the rollout of these, how we help other countries and how we do these. I mean, it's important. It's important to really know who's responsible for a lot of these things because a lot of deception is being played. I'm going to show you another deception from Kamala Harris in the video pretty soon here next. And you may be like, okay, that's childish for someone to promote what administration did what. Well, I'm sorry, you guys. You're only going to remember these things when it comes to the campaign season. When it comes to your vote, you're going to remember who gave you stimulus checks. You're going to remember who increased the ventilators, who secured the border. These hot button issues, the George Floyd cases, the racial impulses of society, who wins those PR battles? It's a PR battle. This is politics. It's a grudge match. No, the weak is not allowed in this. You know, it's a blood sport. So yeah, just remember that where that came from. But like I said, these COVID cases seem not to be going away. Um, we open up, we don't open up, the numbers still increase. I just like I said, my position is we gotta stay vigilant. You gotta live your life. We gotta open up, and we gotta protect those who are most vulnerable to these diseases and to these infections. But we can't shut down. We can't hide and tuck in our tails. We gotta live our lives and continue to grow. We'll get past it. We'll get through it. We're a great world and we're a great country, and we can figure this all out. So, but what we don't need, and what I've been honing on the most, what we don't need is elite or people in power taking advantage of a pandemic that negatively affects the people. It's like we're playing. Sometimes you see articles that we're playing games. It appears that we're playing politics, we're playing games with something that's supposed to be serious. That's what the numbers tell us. There's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of skepticism, and a lot of people have their eyes squinting at a lot of this information that we have from our leaders, and we have to continue to hold them accountable and continue to watch what the messaging is saying. I read an article. Actually, I saw a news posting today that the CDC is reviewing if we need to wear a mask in public outside. That the percentage is low, the number of deaths that are caused or infections are caused by people being outside with masks on. So, India's blowing up, but over here we think about taking our mask off, So, we just got to figure out what's right for you and make the right decision for you and your family. But just a couple of quotes on this article. National Security Council said the United States will provide, again, I told you, all the equipment to help out India. Just as India sent assistance to the United States as our hospitals were strained earlier in the pandemic, the United States is determined to help India in its time of need. This is President Biden tweeted on Sunday. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement Sunday evening that the department is currently assessing the equipment we can both procure and draw from our own inventory in the coming days and weeks to help India's healthcare workers. He added that the department will assist with delivering supplies, including oxygen-related equipment, to India in the next few days. So that's good that we're showing some diplomacy. We're helping out our fellow partners, democratic partners. India is the largest democracy in the world, and we need to be there. We need to be there to help them in a time of need. But now I want to move over to immigration. This is a hot button issue, guys. This is something that's not going to go away no time soon. You got to watch the messaging when it comes to this, because this is one of these issues that affect everyone, not just from a supply standpoint, but from a political standpoint when it comes to the election and your votes. The more immigrants that come over, illegal immigrants that come over the border, 9 times out of 10 they're going to vote Democratic. And that affects the votes. That affects the outcomes. Definitely these border towns in the state of Texas, these things have consequences. Okay? And when you have someone like President Biden, who pretty much said we're going to review the Trump administration immigration policy, it opens the floodgates. People started coming over here by the troves immediately in January. I gave you the numbers earlier of how many of the increase in the border crossings over the last 2 months. So let me show you this. Let me start off though before I jump into all that. Let me show this video from Fox Business. Kamala Harris blaming the Trump administration for the immigration crisis right now, and let's see what she says.
It's not going to be solved overnight. It's a complex issue. Part of the problem is that under the previous administration, they pulled out, essentially, a lot of what had been the continuum of work. And it essentially came to a standstill.
You're rebuilding it.
We have to rebuild it. And I've made it very clear to our team that this has to be a function of a priority that is an American priority, and not just a function of whoever happens to be sitting in this chair.
You see, I don't know. That I think we all know is false. If you've been following this immigration, the border wall built up for the last 4 years, you know that the Trump administration didn't just walk away, leave this thing empty, leave them holding the bag. 46% of Americans believe that security is worse than it was 2 years ago on the border. Most recent poll. Kamala Harris lead you to believe that they came into a mess. We didn't hear anything about the border or any issues. It was a slowdown during the Trump administration of illegal border crossings. We've seen it. We've held other countries accountable. We told our southern border partners in Mexico and Central America to do your part in securing your border on your side. What did Biden do? Catch and release, came back, repealed the Trump policies, opened the floodgates, like I told you. They wouldn't let the media in. We have children detention centers. They have to build more detention centers. They're keeping these people here. They're processing them through, catching and letting them go, and then you'll see them in your voting lines in the future, voting Democratic, changing the whole landscape of this country, not in the way our founders intended. Again, I told you, I am for immigration. I'm for bringing over the best and brightest. I'm for bringing any of those escaping any kind of crisis in their own country that's legitimate, legally. But when you change the landscape of the country in a legal manner, I got to fight back because you're assaulting the Constitution. You're assaulting our values. And at the end of the day, it's common sense. It's common sense. Why not? Now I know there's some things we got to fix, and that's fine. But this is not what we're fixing. This is a deliberate attempt to consume power. The Democrats don't want to fix this policy. They don't want to fix this. Definitely, if they know they can win the PR game. If you win the PR game, then we can do what we want to do, whatever we want to do. And they know that they can win this message. They know that they can sit there and tell you that the Trump is an evil bad guy and he started this whole thing. He started kids in cages, and you're gonna walk around believing that, eating it all up. But like I said, the Republicans have a chance. They have an opportunity here. Okay, they have a real chance to create a PR campaign or some kind of media blitz if they can get the right partner, if they get some media partners in their corner, and they get the right Republican leaders in Congress and in the House and the Senate to promote this message. They have a couple dogs in the fight. They got Devin Nunes and Ted Cruz doing their best. The whole state of Texas too. Remember, the whole state of Texas is suing the Biden administration currently for not implementing the procedures and COVID protocols into any detention facilities of the youth and the people that are staying there. So now you got this immigration crisis. On top of that, you have COVID policies not being implemented, but you're demanding those same policies amongst your states. And Texas is like, why is one thing good for us and not good for these children in these facilities? You're pretty much putting us at risk. If you're not implementing these COVID protocols in your own detention facilities, but you're also demanding that the state of Texas enforce these protocols, these same protocols, we're suing you. And they should. So shout out to the state of Texas for that. Again, immigration is a big thorn in their side. And if you can promote and campaign on the crisis against Democrats and blame them for this, and then you throw that COVID on top of that, and then you continue to fight these election laws to show up the integrity in the states like Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, then you might have a chance in 2022 to take over the House. You might have a chance to win the presidency in 2024. Again, it is so much to cover. Don't forget about the investigations. So you think the Republicans have a lot of meat to pull from to win these battles, these political battles on a state and a national level. But man, there's a lot of media cohorts out there. There's a lot of things to battle. Like I said, you consider corporate America that has their own agenda. Even though I don't know why they're so pro Trump, pro Biden when there's a be an increase in the corporate tax rate to 28%. But you look at them, you look at the media, you look at every single industry speaking their opinion in their mind. We saw LeBron James most recently. Look at like Kimmel, Fallon, Trevor Noah, James Corden, Seth Meyers. So we saw Saturday Night Live for the whole 4 years. Alec Baldwin shot out. Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, Atlantic, The New Yorker, BuzzFeed, Daily Beast, Mother Jones, The Nation, CNN. Like I said, all of Hollywood, all their producers, all the directors. You think of sports, all the coaches, all the owners, the Daryl Morey's and the like I told you, like the LeBron James and people in music industry, singers, and they all have something to say when it comes to a negative Republican viewpoint or a Republican viewpoint that they don't agree with, or if they're trying to hone a message. They're all on the same page, and they're soft on Democratic leadership, softball questions, softball, pushback, from the media overall. Just from the Biden administration all the way down. You see, I mean, if you don't see this bias, I mean, what the fuck I look like? I have to talk from this perspective because that's what I've witnessed, that's what I've seen. Emotional witness, like I said, hit that subscribe button. You see me catch me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday live from 10 to 11 a.m. Wave 1 Media, 120 East Market Street. Like that page on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please subscribe. Hit up the chat. Again, as a show, we're growing. As a show, we're going to continue to get better. Be more informed. Hold truth to power so we can make the right decisions come campaign, come election season. We no longer we should be duped. No longer should you go into the the campaign, election, or voter season and not be informed. Even if your vote is wrong, at least you got an idea why. At least you got a better idea of a pulse of America. And you can hold your input, hold your thoughts, and and provide your expertise. But again, like I said, the Republicans have a lot to battle for. They have a lot up against them. They have to prove the whole world, even internationally. Now I'm not pro-Republican. Don't get it twisted. Like I said, I just feel like I can't really support a administration that may have entered office in a deceptive manner. That may have actually stole this election. There's a lot of evidence that supports that. And when I look at their actions and their behavior, thus far since they've been in power, I don't see anything that moves the needle towards bringing us together as a country. I see more attacks on the Constitution. I see more attempts to consume power. I mean, look at the Biden administration attempt to add more Supreme Court justices recently. They're reviewing that right now. Again, what they're doing on the border is an issue. It all trickles down and affects all of us. Okay? We need to continue to be on the attack and continue to be on the offensive. And like I said, no matter what good this administration does, in my opinion, it won't overcome what they've done in the past and not been held accountable for. Whether it be the investigation for the Ukraine, China, and Russia, whether it be their spying on the Trump administration, Trump campaign, the abuse in the FISA courts. And again, we got a lot of Teflon dons. We have a lot of people that are in power still, that are walking around, prancing around our media, doing shows and interviews, that have not truly been held accountable for their actions in the past 5 years. And we don't know if they're ever gonna get, properly charged for it. Rather, whether it be in the courts, but in the political opinion, we can at least do our part. In the political and the social realm, we can at least expose behaviors. So when you see these people come across again, you be like, hey, who are these people and why are they still here? I know what they've done. I don't support anything they believe in. And I'm referring to the Teflon dons like the Comeys, the Clappers, the Strzok's, the McCabe's, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Susan Wright, Valerie Jarrett, various people in media. I can go on and on, man. Like, I might get to a point where I start saying their names often, let it trickle in. Like I told you, every Wednesday, though, we have a spotlight on a politician. And we're going to expose these cats for who they are. Their background, their history, their policies, what they believe in, and things they may have done in the past that may have got away with. We have to stay on the offense. We have to stay aggressive, So as this show organizes, as this show gets going, as you get more content from me, more analysis of these issues, we'll be able to get better leadership, hopefully, over time, right? Because one other thing that I don't agree with is term limit. I believe there's term limits. These old fogies still in office, filling their pockets up with millions of dollars over the years and over the decades, and we have done this show for it. So I bet we have fresh leadership, we'll be better as a country. And we need fresh leadership responsible leadership to go along with this great innovation that we're having in this world. We're moving on to new things, and we don't need to have people holding us back for their own selfish reasons, right? So I'm most of witness, man. And I got a lot I want to touch on, and these issues mean a lot to me. Holding on to the Constitution and its values, and weed, not corruption. You know, I really believe in those things, and I mean, I guess I'm just a sucker because, man, even for fairness. I mean, I know this world's not perfect, and I know that we're gonna have, one-sided, and biases on various realms. But hey, at least on the biggest platform, politics, in the halls of Congress, that's where the battle is necessary, is a necessity. Because so much is at stake. Your future, your family's future, your kids. We don't want to wake up to tyranny. Sometimes people think that, like I said, I mean, people are like, man, how is he so stubborn when it comes to the right to bear arms, when it comes to gun policy, where every day lately we've been seeing all these shootings, I mean, I'm very, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't see the issue as a gun issue, as more I see it as a mental illness issue, and I think that it's more important for us to hold our protections as a people from a potential, a rogue government or rogue leader or some kind of tyrannical essence coming through and destroying this country. We need to be able to protect ourselves as a people with that, and guns do that in a way. So we just gotta find a better way to bridge families. A lot of these issues are domestic too. And try to find a way to not sensationalize guns. So we talk about guns so much that they're usable. I mean, they want to be used. People want to use them. I mean, tell them what I'm talking about. But like I said, we glorify a lot of things. We glorify violence. We glorify drugs. We glorify a lot of things, and people want to play. People want to play to those things, and that's why we have such a sensationalized view of the topic of gun policy. But I think we need to start focusing more on honing on more on mental illness, reorganizing mental illness. Getting the guns out of criminals' hands, of course, and identifying the root causes, cleaning all that up. Because there was a point in time where, don't get it twisted. I mean, the right to bear arms has been on the books forever. Not forever, but since, the invention of the Constitution. There were no drive-bys with muskets, So, I mean, a lot of this stuff has been enhanced over the century. And, we've been kind of irresponsible with it. That's all. We need to increase our responsibility with these laws and these rules and our tools. And I think that we just, as a country, have been kind of loose with all that. We have laws in the books that we just enforce. A lot of things will get better, But you got that political game, and we got to sort through it. And I'm Emos the Witness. I'm your referee, your guide, your source, your messenger. Bring call to your attention to fight against this nonsense, okay? So on Wednesday, we're gonna spotlight a lot of these Teflon Dons that I just mentioned. Like I said, we're gonna get into the investigation of FBI, FISA. What's the latest with the Horowitz report? The Durham investigation. It's a criminal probe, and just kind of a history of what's all happened during the Trump administration, during the Trump campaign. It's not alleged, but they literally spied. And like I said, I mean, you may think it's old news, but it's not old news. It affects us all, and it will affect the upcoming election. All this stuff's coming down. So like I said, we're gonna cover a lot of the. Susan Collins, what's her name? Susan, I don't know. But anyway, I said James Comey, Clapper Strug, McCabe, Clinton, Obama, Susan Rice, all these people, man, they all played a role. And we're going to talk about that. We're digging to that. I heard the Emos the Witness show, like I said, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hit that subscribe button. Like me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, like I said, I just kind of want to touch on the last few things. So, like as I mentioned, though, today, half a year later, half a year after Trump's defeat, Arizona Republicans are recounting the vote, and then in Georgia, they update the laws to make them stronger. What's interesting, though, I want to kind of bring up, like I said, Kamala Harris, when it came to immigration, she blamed the Trump administration. In Georgia, when they updated the new voting laws, they called suppression. They called out racism. Democratic Party, Democrats locally in the state. In Arizona, the claim from the Democrats for the recount, they're using super techies to dig into the recount. Democrats are saying that this is a sham and they're not going to pay for it. The judge came out and said they're going to pay for it. That is necessary. Again, why not have a stronger voter policy, a stronger restriction on your right to vote? Make sure everybody who's qualified to vote votes, and nobody illegally. No more absentee games. No more early voting nonsense. You work the laws on the books and you strengthen them. You update the voting. Why not update the voting rolls? You update the voting rolls, and when you're wrong, and you don't have another leg to stand on, you pull out the race card. In Arizona, you don't want to pay for election integrity, to dig deep into the issue, the root causes, to do a recount that was awarded by the judge. It's obstruction. Why be obstructionist to the right to vote? It's one of the most sacred gifts that we have. A lot of countries don't even have that freedom. So we got to protect it. So when I see other side fighting against it, it immediately makes me skeptical. Why would I vote for someone like that who has a disdain for my constitutional values? So you see some states like Texas fighting. You see states like Georgia pushing back. But hey, that's how we are in this world. And like I said, 2020, 2022, 2024, you're going to see the results of all this fighting back and forth. Who's going to win? Okay, so Emotional Witness, I want you guys to have a great start of the week. I want you to enjoy your day. Hopefully, like I said, we'll start getting this show started at 10 o'clock. But hey, we always seem to stop at 11, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little hungry or something. I don't know. But I want you guys to have a great week. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday where we spotlight a corrupt politician and we dig a little bit more into the issues and we find out what's going on in this crazy world of ours. Emotional Witness, y'all, and I'm out.